That's the big problem.
Not get rid of any more community police officers because they really do the job well.
What people want to see generally is police on the streets, and they don't want to see the cutbacks that are so cut back that we don't get that.
Zero tolerance on everything from graffiti to throwing cigarettes out of windows, everything. Just everything that starts right down here that leads to larger crime.
No, I honestly don't know what they're going to do and what they expect to do.
In my day in charge, I've spoken to the public, met with the police, and made some big decisions, like appointing the chief constable, agreeing the budget, and setting the force's targets. But ultimately, it seems this job will be whatever the Commissioner makes of it.
Chris Brierley fantasising a bit there about what would happen if he were in charge. But one of these four people will be in charge in Avon and Somerset. It's a big job, isn't it? 85,000, is it, a year?
Yeah, never mind about the money. It is a very big job and a very important job. Listen, I've been on thousands of doorsteps in the last few months, and I can tell you what people want is to be allowed to go about their lawful business day by day without any fear and insecurity. Now, what I can bring to that is a fresh look at the police force and the judicial system to make sure that that happens.
OK, well, it's a big job, as you say, but I can tell you, I can save you a lot of shoe leather, because I can tell you what people want. They want to see more police officers and they want less crime. That's not very difficult. You don't have to go to every corner of the constabulary to find that out, do you?
We have a cut. We have to take on board. We have a £43 million we've got to find. Damping is going to get worse. We're going to have more cuts. So the real key
Damping means what?
Damping is the government taking back some of the money that should be allocated to Avon and Somerset. That is going to increase because we are going to have the Community Safety Fund also going to be damped. So we're going to have less money. That's the important thing. So we can't just throw police anywhere. We have to target specific places where there's going to be crime and where we can work out that we're going to make the most difference.
Well, you want to target, you want money spent in sort of individual units, fair enough. But a lot of people will say when they go out, they will say, you want to see officers on the beat. Are you going to say to them, you can't have them? Or are you going to say, yes, that's what we should do?
I think we have to educate them to understand what that really means. I think they need to see officers when they need to see them. I mean, the other point that you make about cutting crime, this is not an instant thing. If we really want to cut crime, one of the great advantages of this job, the big advantages is about getting in touch with the public. So that's one piece of it. The rest of it is getting in touch with the rest of our society. If we want to cut crime, we've got to do something about education in certain areas, and we've got to do something about the great amount of money we spend unnecessarily on health. We need to get on between those big functions.
Let me give you a hypothetical. Say the Chief Constable comes to you and says, look, we've got this lovely little village, it's called Midsummer Bottom or something. Few murders there in recent years, but actually it's all very quiet now. We really don't need a police station there. And you say, can I close it, Chief? What do you say? Because you'll know if you go there, you'll say, I love my local police station, I want it kept open. The Chief will say, it's not worth the money.
But
whose side are you on?
Let's look at the evidence. Let's look at the evidence. When police stations are only being used maybe once or twice in 24 hours, you would not keep them open. Let's put
But if you listen to the public, they will tell you they want them open.
But let's get the police to where the residents are. Let's put them in supermarkets. Let's put them have mobile.
So you'd close, OK. What about you?
No, see, we've already gone through this process. It is about if you have got an inquiry office, and that was one of the misunderstandings. Is it the police provision, or is it an inquiry office? If you've got a building open Monday to Friday 9 to 5 and there's one or two people going in a day...
So you'd face down the opposition as well, what about you?
It's horses for courses, and how are we going to solve a job? What we need to do is reduce crime and reduce the need for all this very elaborate infrastructure.
Okay.
But the reduction in crime needs to come very early on in that
One
process.
last hypothetical I'll give you. In Bristol, they're going to have drunk tanks on the weekend to deal with drunks, save the pressure on the NHS. Is your view, as the Commissioner, should you facilitate this, or should you say to the Chief Constable, I do not want drunkenness on the streets of Bristol?
I think it's about rehabilitation, it's about reducing crime.
What are you going to say to the Chief?
Well, operational policing is down to the Chief Constable, but I would actually want to work with local authorities and voluntary sector as well.
Prevention is always better than cure.
I've chaired the setting up of that, and it's a great facility. And guess who's paid for it? It isn't the police service; it's the people that supply the booze. So this is cooperation.
We all need to work together. We've all got less money.
Okay.
So let's not fight our own battles. Let's fight them together.
Okay. Right, let's have a break and let's take a quick look back at some of the other political stories of the week in our 60-second roundup. Boris Johnson took some serious flack from a small group of protesters in Bristol this week. He was here as a cheerleader for the Tory candidates for Bristol Mayor and the Police and Crime Commissioner, who both stuck to him like glue.
Many, welcoming committees I've had around this country. That was amongst the most vociferous. But that's I think what it shows is that there are people in this city who are crying out for change.
A blot on the landscape or a great way of generating energy? It seems even the government can't agree on whether they love or hate wind turbines like this one in Gloucestershire. There are proposals to build more in the area, but if the Tory Energy Minister gets his way, all new plans will be blocked. 3 of our local Conservatives rebelled in this week's vote on the EU budget. James Gray, Jack Lepresti and Lawrence Robertson were among 53 who defied their leader, voting with Labour, calling for a real terms cut in spending. Well, that was the week. How do I cope? And that's all we've got time for today, but the programme continues with Andrew in London. It's flown past. Thank you to the 4 candidates for Avon and Somerset for joining us today. Nice to see you. There's a full list of all the candidates standing in Wiltshire, Gloucestershire and Dorset on our website. The address is bbc.co.uk/police elections. And there's lots more information on how to vote and the views of your candidates too. So it really is worth taking a look. And you can hear more from the candidates on your local radio stations this Thursday at 9 a.m. I'm chairing the one in Bristol and Somerset. They're holding debates, quizzing the candidates about the issues that matter. I'm back with you next week, but now let's return to Andrew.
In a moment, we'll look ahead to the big stories that will dominate politics next week with our political panel. But first,